Hey everyone, Mori here, and welcome to Trials of Innocence. Whew, this case will finally come to a conclusion today. But for you guys, in a week. I don't know. I've got so much evidence in my hands, but I've never handled such a complex case alone before. Can I really handle it? I'm a bit nervous. T. Annie, you're okay.
Yep, you're frowning so tightly. Come on, smile. Have a cup of hot tea and relax.
Sure. With her around, it seems like nothing can make me nervous.
By the way, I just saw the swordsman.
Swording Gray? It makes sense that he would be called to testify.
Yeah, I saw him walking in while waving his wooden sword.
Is he allowed to bring that in?
Isn't that considered a dangerous item?
Why can he bring a sword in, but I can't bring the Verity Lance? I mean, I think you can. It's just that it'll be risky.
Look! Miss Sapphire's here too!
I don't think Zoe has a choice. You know, she's here because she needs to be here. Not by choice. I bet if she could stay in jail just for like 5 minutes more of sleep, she'd take it. And I wholly understand. Good morning!
Good morning, Miss Sapphire. You seem to be in a good mood today.
Let me guess. You forced the guard at the detention center to change the channel to the TV series you were following yesterday? Yeah. You were following yesterday?
Are you a mind reader?
Yes. Yes. I mean, it's a joke. But funny enough, I know an actual psychic attorney in game, of course, not in real life. I think. What if I already met one? I mean, my sister went to law school, so, you know, maybe one of her friends are? I hope not. They weren't hot friends anyway, so it's not like I had any, well, bad thoughts. It's just that you're too easy to figure out. Wow. Forget about that, Miss Lawyer. You should be fine for today's trial, right? To be honest, while there's some progress to the case, I'm even more unsure than yesterday. After all, the real culprit behind the director's murder is bound to be revealed in today's trial. By the lawyer and not the detective, for some reason. Hey, what is the detective supposed to do anyway? Fuck around?
The real culprit? Who could it be? Someone from our center? She never even thought about it before.
Forget it. By the way, will Remily White come to court today? Remily? The deputy director and that martial arts enthusiast just escorted her inside. But it seems she doesn't need to testify today, so she'll probably just sit in the gallery. I really hope so. Okay. During today's trial, it's inevitable that certain past events will be mentioned.
Is it okay for Emily White to hear all this? Defense attorney and defendant, the trial is about to begin. Please enter the courtroom promptly. Alright, Annie, Miss Sapphire. Here we go! Sure. Believe in yourselves and you'll be fine. Yeah! I'm here! Reaching far across these new frontiers. Damn it. To help you! Alright, let's do this together. With the power of friendship. And bullshit. Now, the trial of Miss Zoe Sapphire continues. Hello? Hooray? Why do both of you seem so solemn after a day of investigation? Are you ready? Defense Attorney Luna Ray is ready. You know, sleep is just a temporary death. And after knowing how Tessa, you know, like how Tessa feels about Silas, I mean, I get it's in the motherly sense, but I must say, it's on sight. It's on sight. You're lucky you're in a different dimension than me. But I'm just saying, you know? Since both the defense and the prosecution are ready, let's begin. Can this demeanor be called ready? The prosecution has a significant discovery to report. Oh, really? Tell us! Detective Sanford was supposed to report it, but she's not here. She's reaching far across these new frontiers, so I'll do it. The prosecution has discovered the truth behind this case and the murderer's method of killing. The murderer's methods were very clear and deceived everyone yesterday, including Detective Sanford and me. We initially thought the victim died from falling off a building, but that's not the case. The true cause of death was a fatal impact. You know, yesterday you were trying to say so much. You were trying to say, no, it's by falling. A fatal impact would be impossible. And what do we see now? Yeah, fatal impact. Of course. Yeah, sure. Okay. Don't tell me this is gonna be like Stafford Case 1. Fatal impact? What does that mean? He played Genshin Impact and then it turned fatal? Commonly known as a crash. The victim crashed headfirst onto the wall of the electromagnetic lab. Crashed? Onto the wall? Even though the explanation is straightforward, the judge is probably imagining a completely different picture. Wait, I remembered the forensic yesterday said that the force the victim endured was equivalent to falling from a 15 meters height. How could crashing into a wall generate such force? Did Director Crimson practice Ironhead technique? If he did, he wouldn't have died. Debatably. That's because the wall is not an ordinary wall, but an electromagnetic one. We officially propose a new claim. The electromagnetic lab on the 3rd floor of the research center is the primary crime scene.
Okay.
What? This is truly an unexpected and swift development. Defense, what's your take on it? Regarding the primary crime scene, we agree.
Shut up, phone.
Mr. Crimson originally planned to conduct biochemical tests that afternoon, so he wore protective metal gear against radiation. That's solid, by the way.
The victim intended to go to the second floor biochemical laboratory, but encountered a blackout while in the elevator. As a result, he mistakenly entered the electromagnetic laboratory on the third floor. Although a metal detector was in the doorframe of the electromagnetic lab, it didn't sound due to the blackout.
I see. It's rare for both sides to reach a consensus on the case. I haven't finished yet. After
Director Crimson went to the wrong floor, the defendant turned on the breaker, activating the electromagnetic laboratory's power. The victim was instantly attracted to the electromagnetic wall and suffered a fatal impact. What was she gonna say?
But wait!
There were misunderstandings before, leading the trial astray. But the one who ended Joseph Crimson's life is still unquestionably the defendant.
Sounds more like an accident to me, to be honest. Order! Order! I did not expect the true cause of death to be so bizarre. High technology is indeed a double-edged sword.
Hold it!
Not as abrupt. Not bad. Until yesterday, the prosecution hadn't even figured out the cause of the victim's death, and yet they arrested the defendant. Are you still going to make such rash conclusions today?
Objection.
Whether it's rash or not shouldn't be for you to decide.
That was a bit delayed.
The prosecution is fully prepared today to crush the defense's futile struggles with evidence and testimony.
Objection!
Well then, bring it on, bitch!
Okay, that's not what she said, but I wish she said that.
Whether the preparation is adequate or not shouldn't be for you to decide. If you have witnesses, bring them here. That's enough! How come you two start arguing again? Just seeing those dead fish eyes makes me worked up out of nowhere. It seems both sides still can't agree on the case. The court needs to conduct a more careful assessment. Prosecution, you have already overturned your investigation result once, so your statements today must be rigorous.
Yes. The prosecution requests that the researcher, Sword and Gray, appear in court.
Confronting Mr. Gray from the beginning. He was bound to come sooner or later. Let's hear what he has to say. Well, that's quite a uniquely dressed researcher.
My respect to you, esteemed lords.
Shut up, you edgelord. No need for formalities. Arise! The judge got into the role in a second.
Witness, your name and occupation. I am Sword and Grey, a humble practitioner in the Crimson Ultra Realistic Robot Research Center.
A practitioner?
During my practice, I also serve as a researcher.
Am I really going to question this weirdo later?
Witness, were you present at the center of the day of the incident, around the time of the blackout? Sir Schubert's words are accurate. The prelude needs to be played more elegantly. Please testify about the blackout sequence.
In terms of being in their own worlds, they are surprisingly similar. Since there are no objections from either side, witness, please start your testimony.
In the day of the afternoon, I was immersed in secluded training. At 2:30, I sent a 1,000-vial message summoning Lady Zoe to deliver experimental equipment for me. Therefore, I continued my training until 4:30 in the afternoon, when the blackout occurred. Originally, I was indifferent, yet at that moment, I suddenly received a letter from Director Crimson via carrier pigeon. Is that real? Are we gonna question the carrier pigeon later? Director Crimson seemed to be trapped in the elevator due to the blackout, so I asked him to wait patiently for a moment. Subsequently, I sent another message to Lady Zoe, instructing her to turn on the circuit breaker and restore power. You made the fucking intern do it? Really? The fucking intern? The intern? Really? Okay. Honestly, Zoe could just countersue you guys. She should countersue you guys. Because what the hell is this?
Witness, your testimony is quite distinctive.
Your praise is too kind, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency? I can't afford to be called that. It's better if you address me as Judge.
Understood, Your Excellency, Judge.
Mr. Gray's words are a bit hard to understand. Although his language is even more cryptic than yesterday, most of what he said is already known to us. The prosecution still clings to the notion that Zoe Sapphire toggled the circuit breaker, aiming to once more cast blame on her. But she did turn on the circuit breaker, right? Indeed. To overturn the prosecution's accusations, we need more details. Defense, are you ready? Please, proceed with your questioning.
Hold it!
What exactly do you mean by secluded training? He was gooning to train his forearm muscles for a meaner swing. This is really putting me in a difficult position. Matters of training are highly confidential within each sect. Moreover, our sect holds many top-notch techniques, and it's even more imperative for us to adhere to the rules with integrity. Huh? The essence of a swordsman lies in good faith and integrity. A swordsman without good faith and integrity will be scorned by all. I absolutely refuse to become someone who abandons good faith and integrity, so I have to implore Lady Barrister not to insist. I just want you to explain what secluded training is. If I understand correcter, I believe Mr. Gray's meaning should be... It's none of your damn business. Is that so?
Hold it!
Carrier pigeon? What the hell is that? The victim contact you using the internal phone line in the elevator, right? Indeed. Director Crimson dialed to the internal line phone on my desk. The entire research center experienced a blackout, but the internal phone line is still functional? Circuits and phones are separate entities. There are circuits in phones. But if you ask me, it's probably the power source runs through a battery and the phone, and when the power gets cut, then the backup power, aka the battery, supplies power to the phone. And since landlines aren't as high powered as lifts, the elevator systems, I'm guessing it can stay on for quite a long time and can be used as such. So in other words, I don't think they're that separate. Wait, what did I say just now? It's fortunate they are. Otherwise, it would have been even more difficult for Director Crimson to escape. What? Was the emergency phone in the elevator directly connected to the office? Indeed. When we were trapped in the elevator yesterday, we used the phone to call Mr. Gray. Yeah. FYI.
Hold it!
1/2 the second hour? What time is that? Adventure time. Nah, 2:30 in the afternoon. 2:30? Is that so? You truly lack knowledge. For those who don't know, 2:30 is 2:30. In case you didn't know. But I say that, but I restrict my videos to be recommended to people below 18. So I don't know why I'd be saying that. Why did I say it? Why did I say that? Who in their right mind speaks like that? They're not in their right minds. Let's leave it at that. Mr. Gray? Are the experimental equipment you mentioned the things on the trays in the electromagnetic and biomechanical labs? Lady Assistant's words are accurate. Does the so-called 1,000-mile message mean telephone? Indeed. There are non-mainstream individuals like you who call it telephone. I would not take that personally. I don't care if you're wielding a sword, nunchucks, sais, a bow staff, or even a freaking gun. I don't care. I would not take that personally. However, I believe 1,000-mile message is more appropriate. A 1,000-mile message, though separated by 1,000 miles, conveys words and people's sentiments in an instant. If you think about it like that, then it's pretty cool. No, I think you're the non-mainstream one.
Witness, why did you ask the defendant to deliver the materials instead of doing it yourself? He asked the intern, the defendant, to turn on the circuit breaker. And you're questioning his limits? The great hides in plain sight. A true swordsman does not easily emerge without a grand event in the martial world. Lady Zoe had just entered the arena and still needs more practice. The simple task is a great opportunity for her to make a name for herself. My intention is to mentor the younger generation. You speak so high-mindedly, but you just find it troublesome.
Hold it!
Shoot. No! I did not mean that. Sorry. Okay, blackout.
Hold it!
Did the victim clearly inform you that he was trapped in the elevator? Yes. As far as I know, once the elevator loses power, it will activate the backup power supply and restore itself shortly after. Yeah, we experienced it yesterday. So what did you do after the victim called you? I was concerned about Director Crimson, so I went out to check and found that the blackout was due to a tripped circuit breaker. Then I returned to the training room, reassuring Director Crimson that the elevator would be soon back in service. It's similar to what he told us yesterday. Just wait in the damn elevator.
Hold it!
4:30 the second hour? 4:30 in the afternoon. Again, so annoying! Witness, from the start of your secluded training till 4:30, did anything strange happen? Even the smallest anomaly could be an important clue. If that's the case, that was indeed a minor strange incident. Which is, while I was meditating in the training room, I suddenly heard a scream from the center. Scream? Oh, I remember. It was Remily White, right? Yes. I was meditating peacefully when I heard Lady Remily cry for help, so I hurried over. I intended to eliminate any threat to her, but it turned out to be just a mere rodent. If there really was a threat, your wooden sword wouldn't have been able to eliminate it. You're wrong about that. Have you been hit by anything wooden? Probably not. Mr. Gray's words seem to match the contents of Miss White's diary. Yes, this testimony should be fine. Witness, could you describe the situation during the blackout?
Hold it!
So the defendants went to turn on the circuit breaker purely based on your instructions, right? That seems to be the case. At the time, the defendant didn't know that the victim had entered the electromagnetic lab wearing metal protective gear, right? Well, although I cannot be certain, the blackout was likely not caused by Lady Zoe. If you wish to blame her for using the circuit breaker, sneeze reveal. Okay. If you wish to blame her for using the circuit breaker to harm Director Crimson, I cannot agree with that. That's the prosecution's argument, not mine. But rather than shifting blame onto Zoe, he's actually defending her. Let me confirm once again. The defendant's actions were simply following your orders, and then she went to turn on the circuit breaker to restore power. Is that correct?
Exactly as you said.
Defense, do you have any conclusions after all this questioning? Of course. Although the testimony of Sword and Grey doesn't contain much new info, I believe there's one thing beyond doubt. My client is completely innocent. Is that so? I haven't figured anything out yet. Your Honor, the prosecution just confirmed that the victim did wear protective metal gear, that's solid, when entering the electromagnetic lab. Due to the sudden restoration of power, he was magnetically attracted to the electromagnetic wall and suffered a fatal impact. And the reason for the victim's confusion about the floor was due to an expected blackout. Whether the victim was wearing protective metal gear that's solid, whether he misjudged the floor, and where he was when the power restored, these pieces of information were completely unpredictable for the defendant. That makes sense. Well, it was Zoe Sapphire who turned on the circuit breaker, directly causing the electromagnetic wall to become electrified. But at the same time, she had absolutely no knowledge of the consequences of her actions. The defendant was only following her superior's orders to restore power, with no intention of killing the victim. So we contend the defendant is completely innocent. Order! Order! Ow. In the laws of many countries, including your own, whether it's intentional homicide or manslaughter, it requires the perpetrator to clearly foresee that their actions may result in the death of others. And turning on the circuit breaker itself is not a criminal action, nor does it cause death in common sense. I see. In that case, although the death of the victim is regrettable, the defendant is indeed completely Him again. I understand the despair in the defense attorney's heart now. So think that it seems to have turned into a mournful tremor. However, the attempt to confuse the facts in order to obtain an acquittal is despicable. Oh man. I am levitating right now. Went way too hard, man. You went way too hard. Regarding the defense's assertion that the defendant is completely innocent, the prosecution states that it's all overruled. What? You say the defendant killed the victim unintentionally, that she was unaware of the consequences of turning on the breaker. I suggest you review the questioning and think carefully about what you have actually proven. I've proven that Director Crimson's death was actually an accident? Ridiculous. All you have proven are some facts known to everyone in court. On the day, a blackout occurred in the center, and as soon as the power was restored, the victim died in the electromagnetic lab. Who did the victim call during the blackout? What was said on the call? Who entrusted the defendant to turn on the breaker? None of these matter. How can that be? The prosecution believes the only thing that matters is that the one who physically turned on the breaker is the defendant. Joseph Crimson was the director of the center, while Zoe Sapphire was an intern responsible for miscellaneous tasks. She could not have been ignorant of the director's experimental schedule.
Really? Really? Okay. How do you... Well, whatever.
The defendant could have learned of the victim's accidental entry into the electromagnetic lab during the blackout by some means.
Why don't you prove that, huh?
Such as tracking or monitoring.
With no power? This is preposterous.
You know whether it's preposterous or not. The prosecution has proven the defendant's intention to kill the victim yesterday. There's no arguing about the motive for murder. If you insist the director's death was accidental, then I must ask. After sustaining serious injuries, why would he suddenly climb onto a handcart and allow him to be pushed away by the defendant?
I haven't figured it out yet.
The handcart is made of a non-metal material able to pass through the metal detector and is large enough to carry a body. Even the means of transporting the body were prepared so meticulously, yet the defense insists it was an accidental death. It's like mixing a screaming chicken into the grand symphony, only adding discordance.
Huh?
From motive to scene tampering, coupled with the victim's death message, all current evidence implicates the defendant. The prosecution's evidence chain is already complete, yet the defense persists in its entanglement. You repeatedly claim that the defendant knew nothing about the consequences when she turned on the circuit breaker. I dare ask, do you have any evidence to support such baseless fabrications?
Do you? I see nothing from you, except for your finger. That stanky ass finger. Even though I don't understand what happened, Prosecutor Schubert's words seem to make sense. Maybe try understanding his words first, then it won't make sense. What should we do? The judge is leaning towards the prosecution again. Whoops, I knew it. This guy's a tough nut to crack. Defense, do you have evidence to prove that the defendant was unaware of the victim's condition when she turned on the breaker? There's no way to prove whether she knew or not. I thought we had the upper hand, but Prosecutor Schubert's sophistry changed the situation.
Sis Luna, maybe we're rushing things a bit. The trial just started after all. Come to think of it, Annie's right. There are still plenty of mysteries to unravel in the case. Try to get an acquittal before we piece everything together seems a bit opportunistic. Opportunistic? There's still too little information. I need to seize this opportunity to draw out Prosecutor Schubert's trump card. In fact, during yesterday's investigation, we found significant evidence in someone's room. Try requesting to question that person and see what happens. Your Honor, we indeed have no relevant evidence, but we hope to question another witness who might be aware of the circumstances. Does that witness have evidence to support your claim? I'm not sure, but we believe that questioning this person could lead to a breakthrough in the case. The witness is...
That's it.
Simon Goldstein, the Deputy Director of the Crimson Ultra-Realistic Robot Research Center. Deputy Director? And he's back to not giving a shit, okay. We currently cannot prove whether the defendant knew the director's condition when she turned on the circuit breaker. But on the other hand, the prosecution's evidence chain is also insufficient to pin the murder charge on my client. Mr. Goldstein holds a position in the center second only to the victim, and should be the one most knowledgeable about the center. Questioning him would be more efficient than we arguing here. From the beginning of the trial, none of the leaders of the center have testified in court. The court indeed has an obligation to consider the opinions of the Deputy Director. Prosecutor Schubert, what do you think? Did he fall asleep again? No comment. Since Prosecutor Schubert has no objection, let's have the witness Simon Goldstein testify. The witness who just testified may now return to the galley temporarily. Understood. Where justice prevails, evil finds no refuge. Farewell for now, everyone. We shall reconvene in the future. I hope not. Where is Mr. Goldstein now? The prosecution has already arranged for him to testify. Please come up. Well, that was fast. Good morning, everyone. Witness, name and occupation. I'm Simon Goldstein, the Deputy Director of the Crimson Ultra-Realistic Robot Research Center. Today's main event is finally starting. Mr. Goldstein, were you present at the center throughout the day of the incident without leaving at all? I'm so close to crashing out. I knew you were gonna pull this kind of shit. And I'm still mad. Please define without leaving at all. Your body remains within the center? Define body. Nah. During the tea break, I did lean out of the window to get some fresh air. Other than that, yes, my body remained within the center. Quite a meticulous witness indeed. Deputy Director, You must have experienced all the events that took place in the center of the day, right? To be exact, I experienced all the events except the murder. So, defense, what do you want the witness to testify about? I believe we should first establish Mr. Goldstein's activities on the incident day to ascertain how much he knows about the case. Okay, witness, please testify about your activities on the day. I'll do my best. That morning, I had a discussion with the director about the preparations for the open day. After lunch, I encountered Zoe, who had just been scolded by the director, and comforted her with a few words. I remained in my office throughout the afternoon. Around 4:30 p.m., it did seem like there was a blackout at the center, but I didn't pay much attention to it. How? About 6 minutes later, the power was restored, presumably because Zoe had turned on the circuit breaker. Was it 6 minutes though? Was it? I have a report of the blackout right here. Okay, it was 6 minutes. I continued working in my office. It wasn't until the police arrived that I learned about the director's incident. I was quite distressed about the director's passing at the time. It's truly regrettable. He's completely portraying himself as an outsider. Is he not? Am I hearing it correctly, witness? Are you suggesting that, as a deputy director, you're completely unaware of the director's death until the police arrived? If you're questioning my dedication to duty, I have to say that's rather unfair. I rarely leave my office during working hours, and I was too focused on my work to notice. Unfortunately, I cannot provide more assistance to the case. His attitude of shirking responsibility and watertight testimony really match his usual style. But things can't be as simple as he's making them out to be, right? Hell nah! In the upcoming questioning, we must strip away his disguise. Defense, please proceed with your questioning.
Hold it!
By open day, you mean this? Yes, that's the first time in many years that our center has been opened, opened research results directly to the public. It's an excellent opportunity to showcase the ultra-realistic robots to society, so we at the center take it very seriously. Yeah, except you didn't watch, what, Terminator? You only played Mega Man, I guess, which is not good. I mean, the game Mega Man is good, but you not watching Terminator? No, definitely not good. The open day was scheduled for November 11th, which happens to be today. The open day was scheduled for September 11th, which happens to be today. Yes, but due to the murder, it's been postponed indefinitely. What did you and the director discuss? It was mostly about specific matters, such as preparing exhibits, arranging reception personnel, and science script, and so on. During that time, did the victim mention anything noteworthy? Can you define noteworthy? Fair enough, that one I get. Like any remarks that stood out of character for the victim? The director's characters remained consistent, I don't recall any such remarks. I see. Yes, by the time I left the director's office, it was already noon.
Hold it!
How could you remember the timing so precisely? At the 2 instances where the computer screen changed the brightness, I noticed the system time. If I remember correctly, the time for dimming and brightening were 4:28 and 4:30. 4:34. Huh, exactly the time as the blackout report. To be more precise, the duration of the blackout was probably between 5 seconds and 1 to 6. 5 minutes and 1 second to 6 minutes and 59 seconds. Okay, that's enough. No need to be so precise. Also, you said you just thought it was the defendant who turned on the circuit breaker. Is this just speculation or provable? Could you define speculation and provable? What? Speculation means you made a guess entirely based on your feelings, without any reason. And provable means that you have solid proof to support your speculation. I should probably go back to middle school and relearn the language. I see. At the time, it was just speculation on my part. However, based on the testimony of Sorden, the speculation seems to be true.
Hold it!
Where did you meet her? At the elevator on the 3rd floor. I noticed her eyes were red and teary, so I guess she had been scolded by the director. Do you know why she was scolded? I don't know, but given her behavior, it wouldn't be surprising. I can relate to that. Speaking of Zoe, although she's careless, she still has a lot of untapped potential. I often advise the director not to be too harsh on her. The deputy director is indeed a kind person. I like him a lot. I'm so sorry, Annie. I'm so sorry. Yeah, people with good temperaments are popular wherever they go. After that, I returned to my office.
Hold it!
After the power was restored, did you not notice anything? No, nothing. A blackout is usual for our center. I prefer not to interrupt my thoughts during work, so I didn't pay attention. Did you ever leave your office before the police arrived at the research center? Could you define leave? Are you referring to physically leaving or mentally leaving? How about spiritually leaving? Oh my... Of course I mean physically. Can you even physically stay in the office while mentally being at the beach? Yes! Bro. Like, at work, right? I'm at my desk, yes. But in my head, I am, imagining myself being supersonic, okay? Or Super Saiyan. Like in my head. I'm reliving the fight between Cyber Supersonic and the End. The revisited version. That's where I am at mentally. While I'm at work physically.
It's really good, by the way. Especially that music video that someone made. Think is I'm Still Here. 10 out of 10. Gets me motivated for anything and everything. Except marriage, of course. I see. My buddy never left the office until I heard the police sirens. And after the police arrived? Still no. So you're certain you never left your office throughout? That's correct. I'm certain. Why does the defense keep asking? Is the testimony significant? Let me check. Yeah, sure. Why not? Absolutely. This is crucial information. Please include it in your testimony. If you want a more detailed testimony from me, then I have to say it's only reasonable to do so. Why are you making that expression? It's looking mega hella suspicious. Throughout the whole time, I remained in my office awaiting the police investigation.
Hold it! Hold it!
I forgot to read it. Actually, I didn't know whether I did it or not. To be honest, I forgot which ones I did and didn't do. During your time in the office, did you encounter anything noteworthy? Could you define anything noteworthy? Your funeral. Anything other than work-related matters? If you're asking whether I slacked off during work, I must commend your meticulousness in handling matters. Even my tea breaks are thoroughly investigated. My tea break habits are thoroughly investigated. Huh? The witness has a tea break habit every day at 2:30 p.m. The prosecution has confirmed it. Since you like tea so much, I'll bring you some another day. No. Thank you for your kind offer, Miss Assistant. But rest assured, my tea break is permitted by the director and not a slack off. I always feel like every time I ask about serious matters, he steers the conversation in a strange direction.
Hold it!
Deputy Director, did you see the director's body at the time? No. It is regrettable that I didn't even get to see the director one last time. From what I know, the victim is not easy to get along with, and many friends at the center keep their distance from him. If that's the case, does that mean you had a good relationship with the victim? If you're trying to imply that there was any animosity between me and the director, then I have to say you're mistaken. Director Crimson was a rare genius in the field of robotics, and I held him in high regard, nothing more. In other words, you didn't have any positive feelings towards him either, then. Can you define positive feelings? How I feel after arresting you. Just forget it.
Hold it!
You said seemed. Your tone seemed uncertain. Whenever my computer loses its external power source,
it automatically switches to the internal backup power to prevent data loss. During this process, the screen brightness dims slightly. Oh, I know that. My laptop does the same thing when I unplug it. Exactly. Because the computer screen dimmed, I guess that might be because a blackout happened. But in the last 8 years or so, such blackouts often happen. Since the computer still worked, I saw no need to pay attention to any of it. That makes sense, I guess? So why are the power facilities of a national level research center so unstable? Did you consider investigating the reason for the blackout? No. Maintaining the power supply of the center is not within my scope of duties.
Hold it!
The police had already arrived, yet you remained in your office? Yes, a policewoman with gorgeous hair asked me to stay put, so I dared not move. I mean, if she told me to stay put, I ain't moving until she gives me permission to move again. And after she finished questioning you? Given the circumstances, I was quite anxious at the time. Once the questioning ended, I immediately went home. Huh. Sis Luna, do you have any thoughts on the testimony? I'm thinking there are some things he couldn't have done without leaving his office. Is this meticulous deputy director finally revealing his true colors? Deputy director's testimony appears meticulous, but under our questioning, flaws have emerged. I haven't found anything yet. Don't forget, we found some strange things in his office yesterday. Perhaps it's time to use them.
Objection!
You've finally given the game away, Mr. Goldstein. If you're just suggesting I'm playing games, then I have to say I've never played games in my life. Stop playing dumb. Mr. Goldstein, let me confirm one last thing. You claim to have stayed in your office from beginning to end. Is that correct? Yes, that's right. Why so sweaty, huh? Then explain how this piece of evidence ended up in your office. How is that possible? Oh man. As everyone here should recall, in yesterday's trial, we discovered a torn mark on Remily White's diary. Yes, and we adjourned yesterday's session because of that. This torn page was found in the deputy director's office. The tear of the page matches perfectly with the tear of the diary, and the handwriting is extremely similar to Remily White's. Oh, what? Bailey, take the page for examination. Yes. Why is this page in your possession? I should be the one asking that question. The content of this page describes the situation after the police arrived. Obviously written after the incident. What did it say again? Oh. Yet you claim to have stayed in your office the entire time after the murder, and then you went straight home. Are you suggesting the torn page grew legs and walked into your room? If you're suggesting I lied, I have to say, you caught me. What kind of reaction is that? Handwriting analysis complete. All the text in this page is indeed written by Remily White. Order. Order! Bring that piece of paper up here. Wailing sat at night. Lots of doctors and police came. Hehe. I don't know what happened. The deputy director and Master Sorden asked them both, but they both refused to tell me. Come to think of it, in the morning they seemed to be talking about something like the time bomb, Sky Shield. Deputy director said, absolutely cannot tell anyone, it will bring disaster onto the center. Hope everything is okay. Master Sorden was cut and bleeding, so I bought him some bandages and band-aids. Tomorrow my memory is gonna be reset again. Hope I'll be cured soon. Time bomb? Sky Shield? Disaster? There seems to be a lot of important content written on this page. How could this happen? How was it discovered? Sky Shield. Prosecutor Schubert seems particularly interested in Sky Shield. Isn't the Sky Shield the most terrifying criminal organization in the world? Yes. How could the murder case at the robotics center be related to Sky Shield? Wait, Your Honor, Miss Ray, you've got it wrong. Our center is dedicated to robotic manufacturing technology. How could we have possibly be linked to that organization? Then how do you explain the content in the diary, and why did you tear it up and hide it? I believe that Remily misunderstood the conversation between me and Sorden. Huh? On the day of the incident, World Times just happened to report on the news about Sky Shield and the time bomb. Sorden and I were just discussing the news, and Remily, who happened to pass by, probably misunderstood something. That's why she wrote down such content. I remember that news too. I panicked after the incident and happened to see the content in Remily's diary. In order to avoid accusations from the center, I tore it up and hid it. It's just a desperate move. So you tore off a page because you are afraid of providing evidence to the police during their investigation? The court cannot endorse this behavior, but it does sound somewhat reasonable. No, it doesn't. Sis Luna, is what Mr. Goldstein said true? No, I think it's just an excuse he came up with on the spot. Your Honor, he's been hiding more important evidence than this one. I think you know what it is. There's more? And I'm afraid this item will further prove the connection between the center and Sky Shield. Another important piece of evidence hidden by Mr. Goldstein is...
That's it!
What's this? A breast pin? Ah, scaring you, huh? This badge was hidden by Mr. Goldstein in a rather secretive storage cabinet. We had a hard time finding it. And its meaning...
Objection.
Where did you get this thing from? I just said it was in the deputy director's storage cabinet. Why are you so worked up? Do you know the meaning of the badge? It's a Chinese character, Qian, inside, meaning the sky. And the shape of a shield outside. Probably a token of Sky Shield? Your Honor, the prosecution requests the immediate increase of personnel in the courtroom and the blocking of all exits. Huh? Why? The badge is not something an ordinary member of Sky Shield can possess. It's a symbol of power, exclusive to the seven highest ranking heads.
What? The highest ranking heads? What? Order! Order! Bayleaf, there may be extremely dangerous individuals present in the courtroom. Please proceed as Prosecutor Schubert said.
Yes.
Prosecutor Schubert, why do you know this information?
I heard it from Detective Sanford. The badge is not only a token of their heads, but also a highly encrypted communicator. Although the police have gotten 2 badges from the deceased members of Sky Shield, damn, they still can't intercept their communication.
So the assumption that one of the highest ranking Sky Shield heads is hiding in this research center has been confirmed. How can it be? I see. Mr. Goldstein, even if the situation has come to this point, do you still intend to evade responsibility? No! Answer me. Are you the 4th ranking head of Sky Shield, the technician known as Quadrant? No. This is impossible. We are the top scientific talents. Why are you getting involved in all of this?
What do you mean? Should I be concerned about that? Mr. Goldstein?
Why? Why did you have to push me to this extent? But witness, calm down, please.
What?
Whoosh? The deputy director has been completely enraged by the current situation. But maybe this is my best chance to press on further. But from which angle should I apply pressure on? Consider the evidence. What role Deputy Director Simon Goldstein plays in the case?
Oh, okay.
Yes, based on the evidence I have, I can't pin him down as the member of Sky Shield. Accusing him of being the murderer also lacks any direct evidence and would have been easily refuted. Moreover, the method of the crime in this case seems so complex. We haven't found any evidence of there being 2 perpetrators. To get him to tell the truth, I have to find another way. Mr. Goldstein, I find your behavior during the incident rather puzzling. According to your own account, you neither committed the crime nor are you a member of Sky Shield. Yet despite all these, you still chose to tamper with evidence and conceal the truth. Why? Could it be that you're still fulfilling the original duties of a deputy director? Crimson Ultra-Realistic Robot Research Center was my peaceful kingdom! How could it be destroyed by a mere case like this? I adhere to my schedule diligently every day, leading this repetitive and peaceful life. Have I done anything wrong? Mr. Goldstein, please calm down and answer our questions, okay? It's futile. Well, perhaps since what happened to the director, everything is gone.
longing to maintain the old days. What? What am I fighting for? Looks like I was right. Witness, please answer the defense's question. Are you really a member of Sky Shield? No, I'm not. At this point, hiding anything won't help anymore. I took this badge from Director Crimson's room after the incident. The badge belonged to the director? But why would you do that? Actually, Sorden noticed something suspicious about the director the day of the incident. I don't know what his reason was, but he insisted that I investigate the director's background. I never doubted the director's personality. After working together for 6 years, I never noticed any abnormal behavior from him. That day, I checked Director Crimson's personal accounts based on the information within the center, and found frequent transactions from overseas accounts. We saw those bills in the deputy director's folder too. I always believed it was better to let sleeping dogs lie, even if he had dealings with a criminal organization. As long as he didn't harm anyone and focused on his research. What did it have to do with me? Utterly foolish. All of these happened the day before the trial? The incident? Yes. Initially, I chose to turn a blind eye and advised Sorden to remain calm. Who knew the director would lose his life the next day? I was worried that the director's connection to the organization would bring even greater disaster to the center. So before the police arrived, I removed all traces related to the matter. Emily White's diary, the director's bills, and the badge. Yes, I thoroughly searched the director's room and found it in the compartment of his desk drawer. I didn't realize the true meaning of the badge until just now. It looked suspicious, so I took it with the rest. I intended to wait for the case to blow over before disposing of them. Who knew that you would find them? Your words are sweeter than a song. Do you really think we'll buy this excuse? Yes. The court can't easily forgive your words now, especially since the badge was found in your office. Maybe you are the extremely dangerous criminal. Please calm down. Prosecutor Schubert, you just mentioned that the badge also functions as a communicator. Yeah? So what? This is not just a piece of decoration, but also a device that could be used. It must have left traces of usage over time. I've only had it for 2 days, and I've been very careful to keep it in the cabinet and never touched it. Let the police examine it, and the ownership of the badge will be clear. That makes sense. Bailiff, quickly investigate the badge. Yes, Your Honor. Whew, I didn't expect it would come to this. I thought that the deputy director would be the one colluding with Sky Shield. Could it be the real identity of Quadrant is actually Joseph Crimson? Even though the death of a Sky Shield head is not a bad thing. But I'm going to lose the lead on incidents number 761. Found fingerprints of both Simon Goldstein and Joseph Crimson on the badge. Most of the fingerprints belong to Joseph Crimson, and they were all left 48 hours or more ago. Well done. So the owner of the badge is indeed the victim, Joseph Crimson. Was it just my imagination? Prosecutor Schubert seemed to momentarily show a disappointed expression. Bailiff, you can stand down from the alert now.
Yes, Your Honor.
That startled me just now. Witness, besides hiding evidence, what else did you do on the day of the incident? Apart from that, everything I said earlier just now was true. I had no involvement in anything related to the case. My actions within the center on that day can be proved by multiple witnesses and pieces of evidence. So although this case has led to unexpected twists, there hasn't been a fundamental change. The deputy director has disclosed all his actions, while he's suspecting of concealing evidence. He's not a suspect involved in the case. What's I saying again? Throwing the baby out with the bathwater? Throwing the baby out with the bathwater? Is that a real thing? Seems like that's not how the term is used, but it seems difficult to find another reason to keep him here.
The prosecution agrees with the judge's assessment. We can pursue the issue of concealing evidence later. The murder trial is more important right now. Witness, you may leave.
In that case, the witness may step. Wait! Do you have something else to say? Yes, I have indeed disclosed all my actions. But I'm not finished speaking yet. What else do you want to say? As the deputy director, it's my responsibility to take charge of the center in the absence of the director. Therefore, I would like to express my opinions of this case.
Objection.
The witness's role in this case is clear, but he's not a professional investigator, so it's absurd to listen to his opinions.
Objection!
Your Honor, the defense believes it's necessary to hear what the witness has to say. Why? Even though I have no idea what he's going to say, but we have to keep him here no matter what. The picture of this case is still missing pieces, and maybe they're in the hands of him. In his hands. Your Honor, I was just wondering, is the chair you're sitting on comfortable? What are you talking about? The chair in this courtroom is not very comfortable because it's a piece of leather torn in the middle of the cushion. The most comfortable one is in court number 3. Courtroom number 3, because it's replaced just a few months ago. As you said, you're familiar with the chairs because of your years spent on the chairs. Although Mr. Goldstein is not a professional investigator, he has been working at the center for 8 years. Wouldn't his insights into what happened at the center be deeper and more comprehensive than those of us outsiders? The defense's pot shots do have merit, but the word you use has no merit at all. And it seems the witness has calmed down now. Witness, if you have something to say, please include it in your testimony. The court will consider it accordingly. Thank you very much. Can't believe what happened that day was an unfortunate accident. That afternoon, there was a blackout at the center due to a short circuit. At the time, the director was trapped in the elevator. Because of the special structure of the elevator, a blackout makes it difficult for people inside to tell what floor they're on. The director likely believed the elevator had stopped on the second floor. Hence, entering the electromagnetic lab in Metal Gear, or gear that's a Metal Gear that's solid. Zoe gets restored the power supply as usual after the circuit breaker tripped. However, she didn't know that this action caused the director to be attracted by the electromagnetic wall and seriously injured. Zoe, who discovered this accident, went to turn off the electromagnetic wall to save the director. She pulled the seriously injured director onto a handcart and quickly pushed him out of the electromagnetic lab to the biomechanical lab. Unexpectedly, the director suddenly woke up and mistakenly thought Zoe intended to kill him, hence leaving behind the bloody word. What's wrong with the judge? The witness's deduction is unexpectedly well organized. Could it be the truth? Is what the deputy director said the whole truth of the incident? Of course not. The testimony's full of loopholes. Prosecutor Schubert didn't even bother to refute. For example, even if the director made a mistake about the floor, he wouldn't have mistaken the laboratory. If Miss Sapphire accidentally turned on the breaker, she wouldn't find the director so attracted to the wall at once. And if she wanted to save the director, she could have just called an ambulance. There was no need to push him away. I mean, maybe it was to get him away from the room? So you know it pretty well. Aside from the above loopholes, the deputy director also mentioned something that caught my attention. What does this strange contradiction imply? Your Honor, our center has dedicated to research, to scientific research for many years, and all the members are outstanding talents. Even if the director has some connections with the criminal organizations, I do not believe anyone would plot to kill him. The trial is just a misunderstanding. I hope you can see it clearly. Do both sides have any objection to the testimony? No comment. Let's wait till after the questioning to state my opinion. Very well. Defense, please start questioning.
Hold it!
You say it was an accident. Do you have any evidence for that? To be exact, it's not evidence but intuition. I don't believe anyone in the center could have resorted to such a cold-blooded means to kill the director. Intuition isn't a basis for judgment. Besides, someone using the electromagnetic wall to commit murder is still possible. If you want to say that the truth has multiple possibilities, then I have to say that's a very accurate judgment. Conversely, accident is also a possibility and should not be simply dismissed. The way he puts it is hard to refute.
Hold it!
So you believe that the defense's intentional action resulted in the director's death? Yes, this unintentional mistake resulted in Zoe being unjustly accused, and I cannot simply stand by and watch. I also agree that—
Objection.
Don't just shout objection without saying anything. Baseless speculation doesn't require rebuttal. I really want to throw some evidence at him. He's so infuriating.
Hold it!
About the fact that the victim was trapped in the elevator, did you know about it at the time? No, I didn't. Although I had previously read the director's schedule and knew that he would be doing EEG experiments at 4:30 that day, I didn't anticipate he'd be trapped in the elevator exactly during the blackout. It was truly a
dereliction of duty. You're not the director's babysitter. So what kind of dereliction of duty is this? So you didn't do anything at the time? Yes. Correct. Before the backup power was activated, was there any possibility for the victim to get out of the elevator by himself? If you're implying that he could have opened the iron door with his bare hands like Superman, your imagination's too wild. The prosecution has confirmed this point, and the witness's statement is true. So before the backup power kicked in, the director could only stay in the elevator, unaware of what's happening outside.
Hold it!
There's a considerable distance between the electromagnetic lab and the central control room. After the defendant restored power, could she really have discovered the victim in the electromagnetic lab? Please refer to the house plan. The house plan again? What are you trying to say, witness? As shown in the house plan, after Zoe restored power in the central control room, she should have returned to the stockroom. Ah, the doors of the stockroom and the electromagnetic lab. Oh, the doors of the two rooms are exactly opposite. That's correct. In addition, the director was wearing a metal helmet, which directly collided with the hard electromagnetic wall. Although I haven't personally experienced it, I believe this collision could have made some noise. If you had personally experienced it, could you still testify here? I see. It seems possible that Zoe discovered the victim in the electromagnetic lab. Although I know she didn't actually discover it. Zoe has a kind nature, so it's natural for her to help the injured director when she saw him.
Hold it!
Special structure. It's a noteworthy detail. Could you elaborate? Sure. Oh? The elevator in the center has doors at the front and the back that can be opened in both directions. To get to the biomechanical lab, one only needs to enter through the door at the side of the director's office, and after reaching the second floor, one can exit from the door at the other end. Every time I see this elevator, I find it very interesting. Yes, in the US, there are also many elevators with dual opening doors, mainly for the convenience of wheelchair access. Eh? Are there people in the wheelchairs in the center? No, the design of dual opening doors is only there for the convenience of transporting large equipment. This elevator also has a strange feature. It was discovered by people trapped in the elevator during a blackout in the past. What's that? At the moment of a blackout, the elevator would undergo severe shaking, just like an earthquake. I remember that. We experienced it yesterday. Due to the shaking, it's difficult for people inside the elevator to determine which floor they're on after the power's cut. Additionally, no matter which floor the elevator actually stops at, the display will always show the default 1F.
Hold it!
Even if he got the floor wrong, there's no reason he couldn't figure out which lab he entered, right? It's hard to say.
The layout of the electromagnetic lab is almost identical to the biomechanical lab, except for the core equipment. If the facilities on the right are covered with curtains, the two labs look similar. I noticed that during the investigation. I remember there was something very loud hidden behind the door frame of the electromagnetic lab, right? Are you referring to the metal detector? Yeah, bringing metal items inside would trigger an alarm. But when the metal detector itself requires electricity to operate, and there was a blackout at the time, his testimony is far from convincing.
Hold it!
What does this hand card refer to? A flat hand card that happened to be in the electromagnetic lab. So there happened to be a hand card in the same place where the director died? Which could have been used to transport the body? What a coincidence, huh? Hey, you're supposed to be defending Zoe. The purpose of the hand cart is to transport experimental equipment. It's normal to see it everywhere in the center. What material is it made of? To prevent hazards and instrument interference, the center's hand carts are made out non-metallic and non-conductive materials. I see. I know it's not true, but the deputy director's argument is difficult to refute. Unless there's something that prevents Zoe from quietly transporting the director on the handcart.
Hold it!
As usual, the defendant only has been at the center for a month. How many blackouts have you had? If you're questioning our center's power distribution equipment, I have to say, that's a good point. Huh? The recent increase in large-scale experiments conducted by the director had led to frequent blackouts throughout the center. Just in the past month alone, the center has experienced 3 blackouts. Yeah, that's indeed worrying for a research center to have such hardware facilities. Zoe usually works in the stockroom, which is closer to the central control room, so it's reasonable to ask her to restore power. At the time, Zoe naturally wouldn't have known that the director had entered the electromagnetic lab in mental protective gear. That's solid.
Hold it!
Do you believe the director left the blood word because of the imprinting behavior? The director is not a duck. How could he have imprinting behavior? That's not something a seasoned scientist should say. I'm not seasoned nor a scientist. That's just the most logical inference. While being unconscious from his severe injury, he couldn't have known that Zoe saved him. Instead, he thought Zoe was there to confirm whether he was alive or not, so he used his own blood to write down her name. Sounds like the deputy director's explanation is quite perfect. It's a pity we'll never know what the director really thought of before his death. If only I had an assistant who could summon the soul of a victim. Yeah, the monkey paw would curl. It's like, yeah, you can try. You just have to, acquit her first, because she's been accused of murder. And has a lot of evidence pointing to it. I mean, with Annie, she was definitely not, accused of murder. So, that monkey paw
will really curl, you know? Anyway, the director exhausted his last strength to leave behind the bloody word. It's sad that he died with a sense of hatred towards the innocent. Sis Luna, what do you think of the deputy director's testimony? In a sense, he has done his best. He spared no effort to solve the problems of the censor, even making such a flawed inference. But he is advocating for Miss Sapphire's innocence. Shouldn't we be supporting him? If his testimony holds water, of course we should support it. But proving innocence in defense is not something that can be achieved with just one witness's reasoning. Although his testimony contains a lot of speculation, the direct contradictions are not obvious. I need to thoroughly consider the ins and outs of the incident and find out the most fatal contradictions in this testimony.
Objection!
Oh my fucking god, I spent like 1 hour on this shit. Okay. Finally. I'm free. Okay, that's it. That's it for the video. Good night. Okay, fine, I'll keep going. Okay. That took way too long. Mr. Goldstein, you believe that the defendant quietly pushed the victim out of the electromagnetic lab onto the handcart, right? Yeah. Ooh, what was that? Is my computer working correctly? Hey man, I switched from the Intel GPU to an AMD GPU. Come on, don't do this to me. That's strange. At the time of the incident, the director was still wearing a metal gear that's solid. Then how could he quietly pass through the metal detector? I completely forgot about that. Maybe when the director was taken out of the lab, the metal gear that's solid wasn't taken along? I mean, the helmet, sure, but what about the vest? Yeah, I don't... Actually, maybe. Should've. No way! Although his helmet was left in the lab, the vest was taken outside. If the director's body was really transported as you said, then the metal vest must have wings and fly to the pit outside. Yeah, it drank a can of Red Bull and flew outside. That's how. That's impossible. It drank Red Bull. It can't be possible. Yeah. Helmets can drink. Shocker. The death was already sussy, and the killer even devised ways to destroy evidence and transport the metal vest. All signs indicate that it's definitely a murder, not an accident. By the way, during that hour I was trying to solve the contradiction, I came to the conclusion that it is... Why is she here? I thought she was here. It is Sword and Grey. Because this was found in his trash bag. So he could have used this to short the facility, and then he got his hand cut by this, and could have written the name in his blood, or something like that. Yeah. Because we know that it is his hand. that was cut. I mean, I forgot where it was, but yeah. I don't know if I read that. Good luck. Although the mysteries that who the killer is, why he or she wanted to kill the director, and how the body ended up at the stockroom entrance remain unsolved. We firmly believe that it cannot be dismissed as a simple accident. So, witness, I can't agree with your reasoning. He'd be like, whose side are you on? It's not over yet. Even if, as you say, the director was murdered, his metal vest couldn't have passed through the metal detector quietly. You know, I like how it's supposed to be Luna's job to defend Zoe, but now it's Simon who's trying to defend Zoe, and Luna's like making her even more sus. Like, pick a side, guys. This is like Edgeworth helping Phoenix convict the real murderer, even though the prosecutor is supposed to not do that. Like, seriously. His metal vest couldn't have passed through. Okay, yeah, I think I read that. Your logic doesn't hold up either. Huh? Tell me, how was the metal vest taken out? Huh? After listening for so long, I'm also very curious. How exactly was the vest taken out? I was focused on pointing out contradictions that I didn't think about it at all. Sis Luna, don't worry. Let's think about the possibilities of how the metal vest could have been transported out first. You're right. Let me think about it. If the killer can't destroy the metal detector or open another passage in the lab, he can only place it in something undetectable. But is there something like that in the center? We haven't found a storage box that could have... wait a minute! Could it be? Defense, what have you thought of? Although it sounds absurd, it is indeed a possibility. The thing that could transport the metal vest without triggering the alarm is...
That's it!
something made of metal but can evade the metal detector. There's really something like that in the research center. More precisely, someone. Nah, something. Cyan? Cyan's not the murderer, by the way. Also, relax. Cyan didn't kill the director, I think. Huh? What is that? The lead actress from a horror movie? Your Honor, the person in this photo is named Cyan. She's the creation of the Crimson Ultra-Realistic Robot Research Center. Simply put, she's an ultra-realistic robot. Ultra-realistic? Does anyone look like that? Never mind. Based on what I know, Miss Cyan has a shielding skin layer. It enables her to pass any external inspection. There's a small spare compartment in her abdomen, perfect for transporting items. I see. You're right, Miss Cyan's entry and exit from the electromagnetic lab wouldn't trigger the alarm. But what does that mean? It's quite simple. After the director was murdered, the killer stuffed the metal vest into Miss Cyan's abdominal compartment and smuggled it out of the electromagnetic lab. Huh? The one who could think of the method must be someone at the center who knows her body structure well. All signs indicate that this case is full of evidence of human intervention. Mr. Goldstein,
I know you want to protect the center, but do you still insist it was an accident? What you're saying makes sense. These are indelible traces of human interference. But why? Why are you pushing it to this extent? For the love of the game? The director's death has upset all of us in the center, and you proved he was a head of an international criminal organization. Now you insist on finding a culprit to add to this misery. Why, Miss Ray? Why? How much more do you want to damage this research center before you are satisfied? Order. Order! Mr. Goldstein looks a bit pitiful.
Really?
I know, but the case has come this far. If we argue it was an accident for the sake of a not guilty verdict, what's the point of all our efforts?
Bro, just say that he might do it again, okay? He might do it again. He did it once, he could do it again. You know, inertia. You know, the more an object that is in motion stays in motion type stuff.
Well, I remember Chief said that the truth isn't always as beautiful as we imagine.
Yeah.
Is it right to persist in digging until the end? I haven't forgotten Chief's words, but he never taught me to give up halfway. What's the most reasonable outcome of this case? We haven't gotten to the core of the truth yet. Making any judgment now will be premature. Defense, what are you whispering about? Now's not the time to hesitate. After all, the next breakthrough is right in front of us. Your Honor, Miss Cyan was used to transport the metal vest, and she must know something. The defense requests Miss Cyan to testify. Miss Cyan? That lead actress from a horror movie?
Objection.
Miss Ray, do you realize the consequences of randomly playing with the strings? Asking a robot on a solemn courtroom stage is utterly absurd. You want to question a robot?
I've seen worse. A parrot, a monkey. I think a bird's gonna testify after the robot, okay? I half expect that. Maybe not a parrot, maybe not a pigeon. Maybe a crow. Or a cat.
Are you just realizing this now? Defense, are you serious? You want to bring a machine to the witness stand? Those damn clankers! Your Honor, Miss Cyan is not just a machine. She's an ultra-realistic robot with high intelligence, capable of speaking like a human.
Objection.
A talking machine. A clanker's a clanker. There's no fundamental difference.
Objection!
Miss Cyan possesses the memory and emotions of a human being. She can speak, laugh, and even think independently. Aside from her unique physical construction, she's just like any other human. Is there such a miraculous robot in the world? Yeah, and her upper body looks exactly like a human. Let me think. Although questioning a robot in court is against regulations, out of curiosity, no, out of fairness, you already revealed your true thoughts. The court believes it's indeed necessary to hear the testimony of that damn clanker. Miss Cyan, what do you think, Prosecutor Schubert?
Fucking clankers. No comment.
Since Prosecutor Schubert has no objections, where is Miss Cyan? she should still be in the center. It'll take her about 15 minutes to get here. Taking a taxi from the center usually takes 45 minutes. Aided by her tracks, she's faster than a car by 3 times? I see. Mr. Goldstein, summon Miss Science to testify now, please. Before that, the court shall adjourn for 20 minutes. Okay, yeah, it did indeed take me an hour long for that second round of questioning with Mr. Goldstein. Yes, it did. Why? I didn't know what to do. Because it eluded. Because, okay, the pressing or the questioning of the statement of Zoe wheeled away Director Crimson on a cart quietly. It's like Luna said it was BS and said that she can give proof that it wasn't done quietly. So I thought, maybe it's that hook that drags against the floor, shown in the photo or in the description. No, it's not. So I was just lost for an hour. I didn't know what to do. As for the whole thing, I guess I was wrong about Mr. Goldstein, Deputy Director Goldstein. He wasn't the one trying to kill the director because he knew. But I think... but he was, guilty in a way where he tried to cover it up because he didn't want the organization to dissolve or something. But the thing is, the director was hard carrying the whole thing. Call him Noah because he's really carrying all you animals. It's no contest. Even the deputy director, if you list out what he's worked on, it's mostly admin work. I don't recall that him doing anything substantial other than paperwork and being nice. So in other words, the director, Crimson, was hard carrying. He's like, he's probably since he's dead, the organization's as good as dead. They're gonna do some audits, they're gonna do some reports, they're gonna be like, hey, Crimson was hard carrying, and then just defund you all. And it could still happen, since he's dead and it's a communicator, right? They could kind of send in someone from Sky Shield to finish off the job. It's not foolproof, So it would have been a ticking time bomb. There's no saving it. This is, unfortunately, one of the better outcomes. Sorry, man. And yeah, I do believe that Sword and Grey is the murderer. Heck, he has a sword. And he has info. He is an educated person, unfortunately. And also not afraid to kill. He can run the ones. No, I think he wants to run the ones. He wants to give you a reason to run the ones. It's like, I need justification to draw my weapon type shit, He seems like that guy. He's like, violence is not the answer to all the problems, but to this one, it is the best answer. Or
this problem has multiple solutions, and unfortunately for him, violence is one of them. So, yeah, he seems like that kind of guy. So, I do believe he is the killer. Anyway, so next it seems that we're gonna question Cyan. And after that, since Sordin is the killer, and that's my theory. Anyway, my game theory. Thanks for watching. Since he's the killer, I think that the last segment would be questioning him, then showing all the evidence that he cut his hand. He's the one that short circuited the place, cut his hand, and drew, and used that cut to write Zoe's name in blood. And then he's gonna say his reason, say how he discovered how Dr. Crimson was quadrants. And then it'll say some stuff at the end about how things will only get much worse because they're gonna get scared or something like that, because it's a communicator, so they can hear stuff. Since it's a communicator, it kind of reminds me of Dragon Ball Z, when Raditz came to Earth, and then they talked about Dragon Balls, and then Raditz was like, "You fool! The scouter was also a communicator. They heard everything. They'll come in a year. How do I know that? The plot," or some shit. And then, and then the Saiyans, Vegeta and Nappa come to Earth because of that. So, I think because of Director Crimson's death, Sky Shield will pull a Saiyan Saga move and do shit, Anyway, not much to say. Anyway, we'll see if I'm right. With that being said, thank you so much for watching my playthrough of Trials of Innocence. And if you like what you see, stay tuned and stay awesome. Good night.